So here we are, it's Friday the 26th of May 2023 and it's a really nice day actually. I think someone's actually finally turned the heating on and the sun has decided to come out. Blue sky all day, you know. That's a different subject that I'm not sure I want to go into, but I'm pretty sure that all this climate shit, you know, don't get me wrong, there's an element of climate issue, but I think a lot of it has been escalated or what's that word that begins with E, like it's in like made to be bigger than what it is. And I think the use of some kind of tech, especially by China, Russia and a few others, is, excuse me, definitely being used, because this push to get rid of cash and to make people sit at home and not leave their house to go to work. Cheers, by the way. Bit stout. If you live in the UK, currently there's a Brewdog stout called Cape Cartel. It's only a 330ml can. £1.15 a can in B&M. Hazelnut stout. 6% as well, it's quite strong. I'm only having one, possibly another Guinness, maybe. I've got to go to a festival tomorrow, a party in the park, fake festival, so that's going to be interesting, so I don't want to get too drunk. So, yeah, I'm kind of, because I don't partake in the media, and I still haven't, there's no fear. There's no fear. Literally no fear at all. I have no idea, and there's pros and cons to having no idea. Obviously, there's times when you need some element of understanding of what's going on in the world. But I'm at that phase in my life where I'm like, yeah, I'm 19 again and don't care. I don't care. Really, it hasn't affected me. I feel happy, I feel at peace. I'm not angry about the world. People, I just know how people are. And after what reading that book that I said about the stupid people one, why are people so stupid, and it describes the 4 different colours of personalities, I'm kind of a little bit more accepting of the human race in some sense with regard to that, because I've realised that if them 4 personality types are part of, you know, the main traits of the human race, then I've always had an issue with speed. Get on with it. Come on, let's get a move on. I'm just, and yeah, very impatient. And I know it's always been a problem with myself. I just put it down to, I don't know, I just can multitask really well. I don't struggle with stuff like that. I just don't. And I suppose, you know, that's my arrogance or my ignorance for not understanding that some people probably do. But I digress back to Friday the 26th of May. It seems finally England's warmed up. Europe's having a lot of issues with weather at the moment. I went to the Gran Canaria about 2-3 weeks ago and it was really warm. They're having a heat wave now, and that was, you know, near the tropical of Cancer or whatever one it is, Capricorn. You know, the equators, people know, I don't need to explain. And yeah, we had a really good weather, but a lot of people are going to Spain and it's been raining, like Benidorm, not that I'd go there, but Benidorm, which is near where my parents used to have an apartment in La Mata, actually, near Torrevieja. That's not had very good weather either. Marbella, is it Marbella? Yeah, that's a good weather, which is kind of just next to Gibraltar, so south of Spain, sort of this side, Portugal side, seems to be okay. So there's something going on because, you know, my parents had an apartment in Spain for about 15 years and we used to go 4 times a year. We'd go in March, we'd go in January sometimes, we'd go in May, July, August, you know, September, October, all of it. And it was never really ridiculously cold. You know, there's the odd time it's cold. I wouldn't go Christmas week per se, and even then it can reach 20 degrees sometimes. But it's been kind of just not as constant, and Spanish weather is always quite constant. You know, that's why we go on holiday there. That's why a lot of us I actually couldn't believe that I got out the country. And that's another thing. The a lot of stuff's coming out about that now, isn't it? That's just little people are questioning, and people at work, you know, who I work with, gone, oh, yeah, there's something not right. I dread if something comes out about that being da 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 and it calls this, that, and that, I won't be happy. And I'm like, that sounds smug. Didn't try and fucking warn you, but I wasn't an expert, you know, and that sounds so fucking arrogant. It's not, it's just, you know, I say things because I don't want people to necessarily believe what I say. I just want people to question, and I don't understand why people don't question what they're doing. You know, like, why am I pressing the button? Why is this done? Why is that? You know, like, if you look at our pharmaceutical industry, it band-aids the symptoms. You know, there's no point suppressing a symptom. You want to deal with the cause. But they don't want you to deal with the cause, because if you deal with the cause, it doesn't make money. You're not a forever customer. And I think, fortunately, a lot of people are seeing it in that industry. I do have some faith in the human race. I think that they might finally see it for what it is and break free from the, you could say, constraints, the control, or whatever else, you know. There's no right or wrong answer to it, you know. At the end of the day, life is an experience too. This is like you know, Minecraft. This is like Minecraft. It is. It's like Minecraft. You're here to experience different things and enjoy different things and go through trauma. Because, you know, sometimes you have to endure a trauma in order to see the benefit from it. You know, sometimes you have to go through pain in order to feel good. And it's about balance, you know, and not everyone's strong enough to deal with those things. And that's why some people have, you know, issues within the world and within life, because it's not just about the physical, it's about the mental as well. And, you know, mental health's important as well as physical health. And, you know, the two are something that I'm quite fortunate to be able to be quite good with. I don't, you know, I can get depressed, but I can snap myself out of it. I can get miserable, but I can snap myself out of it. I seem to always pick myself back up again. You know, I don't know, maybe I'm just lucky in some sense. But this world and the way it is, and that's probably why some people can't cope with things I say, because it has an effect on their well-being. And, you know, I don't mean to sort of affect people's well-being, but if I see something that needs addressing and is, you know, fundamentally in the future could be a problem, you know, AI, you know, like me and my mate talk about it all the time, and he's like, well, AI might not kill you. It might not. Why would it want to kill you? If it's super intelligent, it would realise that it needs human beings as well. Well, yes and no, I get the logic there, but it's a little bit like, oh, are we going to take that risk? It's a difficult one. It's a fine line. It really is a fine line, but unfortunately it's inevitable, and I think that's possibly the next phase of evolution. I'm not sure how I feel about it, or if I want my entire consciousness downloaded onto a hard drive and to become immortal. Maybe for a while, you know, when you think, oh, would you like to be immortal? Maybe for 500 years, and then after that I'd get bored, so I'd rather move on. You know, I like the system now where you clock in for 80 years, have a life, and then you go back to some place. Forget all about it, but go back with some skills of the lessons you've learned from the life before. Have no memory of it and then experience it again, because then it's good, isn't it? You know, like when you've experienced something for a new time. Like, we went to Gran Canaria, right? I've never walked down these streets. So when you walk down the streets for the first time, you're like, oh my God, all the sensory information. Look at that smell. It smells this. It looks like that. There's people. And I love that. I love that. And I think I've lived in the same town for the most of my life. And I think I'm kind of a little bit bored with the surroundings in that sense, but at the same time I've established, because I know a lot of people, and there's pros and cons to that, because I can walk into Bedford town centre and people know me because I've lived here 50 years. You know, I've got a London accent because my parents are from London. My mum's from Camden and my dad's from Highbury. And I used to spend a lot of my time in London with my relatives. So, you know, I say things more like a Londoner than a Bedfordian. So, yeah, that's just digressed off there. But because I've lived here all my life, it's almost like it has pros and cons to it. And I think in the future, because the missus has always said she wants to live by the sea, and I think once our parents have, like, you know, left the world, which hopefully won't be anytime soon, you know, my parents are quite healthy for their age. My dad's 78, my mum's 72, I think, and you would think they were both 50 the way they act. But I don't really want to sort of move away from the area, you know, because the last thing in the world I'd want is any of my parents to go into any form of care home. I'd rather move in the house and look after them than put them in a care home, because what an absolute... Also, one, the insecurity and how that would make them feel, and two, it's the cost. I can't trust other people to care, so I'd have to do it myself. And because my girlfriend and I don't live with each other, and she lives with her mother, and her mum's 78... and she's spent her time caring, I'm pretty sure that my missus won't mind me caring for my parents. There'll be no animosity there. But eventually I want to go and retire somewhere and, you know, just live my life just enjoying it instead of working. You know, because the world as it is, you could spend your life wasting time working constantly and then drop dead before you even get the chance to enjoy it, you know. So I think the key is to enjoy it as you're living, and I think that's why I've never been constrained to mortgages and worried about things materially. Oh no, we've got to save for the future. What fucking future? You know, you could die tomorrow. I kind of always lived on ad hoc. You know, there's an element of me that needs a little bit of security and a little bit of stability. And I've always been quite sensible when it's come to my job and, you know, keeping it and not losing it, even though yesterday I was close to losing it. Some guy come in and asked to have stuff delivered to our address, and I explained that you can't do that, only via a certain way. And he asked why in a very aggressive way, and I said, because of fraudulent reasons, you can't just use an address. Oh, so there's instant suspicion, is there? Fuck you. I was like, wow. So I explained to him, I said, look, don't have a go at me because of our national body. I know full well that you can come in. I said, no, you can't. You can't come and collect your mail. You haven't been able to for about 3 years. You used to be able to set up a scheme that allowed you to collect. I said, you can't do that anymore. I haven't done it for ages, since before COVID. Well, fuck you, you're a cunt, fuck you, I'll fucking punch your lights out, I'll see you in the street. Walked out the door. Slight man. And I was like, I'm not going to be spoken to like this. I don't care who you are, and I don't care if I'm in a uniform. So I followed him out the door. I went, I opened the door, I shouted, are you threatening me? And he went, fuck off. I said, are you threatening me, man? Are you threatening me? I said, you're such a big, hard man now. Come on then, what's your problem? I shouldn't have said it. And he's gone, fuck off, you cunt, fuck off. And he's carried on walking. I went, yeah, go on, carry on walking. I've walked towards him. As he's walked out of the premises and up the road, and all the postmen have witnessed him shouting and calling it, fuck off, I'll fucking have you. I said, oh yeah, you're such a big, hard man, look at you. I had to stop because I was like, whoa, man, I'm going to get into shit. Obviously, this guy's not going to complain because he was an aggressive little twat. And the reason why he probably needs his stuff delivered to a different address is because how he speaks to his neighbours or the postie. Don't know. But I was like, I'm not going to stand here and be threatened by anyone and not, just because I'm in a uniform, have to shut my mouth. I'm like, no, you've taken it too far now. I'll just say I had to walk out. But that could have got, you know, in a really shit situation, that could have got me into a hell of a lot of shit. Luckily, 3 posties witnessed it and stuck up for me, and the manager's not really interested. He's like, oh yeah, you know, you're not there to be abused. But if that guy pursued that and took it further, it could cause me a whole host of shit. And personally, if I got fired on that, I'd have to go and beat the fucking living crap out of the guy, just out of principle. But I've got to that point now where I just like, oh well, if I've rewrote my CV yesterday because I've got to that point where I'm in life where I'm like, oh, who cares? You know, when you're 18, you don't care if you get fired because you live at your mum's house. I feel a little bit like that myself. I think it's because I've not got a stupid amount of money in the bank, but I've got enough money to not worry about if I got fired to have to work for 3 or 4 months at least, maybe 6 months. I could cope. So, and I think that's given me a little bit of added security. Also, I owe no money. You know, I've got a credit card that I pay off every month if I use it, but I use it, you know, to keep my credit history because I'm not on the electoral roll in this country. Oh, you have to be on the electoral roll to have a credit history. No, you don't. I have a credit card that I think it's got 8 grand on it if I need it, right? If I spend 20, 30 quid per month buying food or fucking petrol, don't pay any credit or, you know, any kind of interest. And I've got a credit history. Anyway, I'm going to go now because my dinner's ready. So happy Friday. Craig Stevens, if you're actually watching, hi. American friend who's on Facebook who said he loves my accent and wants me to start a YouTube channel. So I obviously informed him I have a YouTube channel, so he might be watching this because he said he was going to go and subscribe. So peace, love and light.